Welcome to my next The Shield Season 1 episode review video. Before I talk about that though, pretty important, if you haven't watched the first 4 episodes of The Shield Season 1, then it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. In full disclosure, I've already seen The Shield all the way through one time. I think it's a really solid and amazing show, probably ahead of its time. So join me on this journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show in the comments section. So with that said, this will be The Shield, not to be confused with Agents of Shield, Season 1, Episode 4. The title of this episode is called Dog Days, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with Danny and Lem, who are working security at a record release party for Kern Little, who's a rapper and ex-criminal with drug connections in Farmington. Rival rapper and drug dealer T-Bones and his crew enter demanding money that Little owes them. Little's friend and drug dealer Rondell Robinson steps in to confront him, but Lem and Danny break them up. As T-Bones and his crew leave, one of Robinson's men insults a straggler and fires on them. The two groups fire at each other, killing one henchman from each as T-Bones' gang flees. Vic Mackey and Aceveda arrive on the scene and are briefed on the situation. Aceveda orders those assembled to solve the situation before it gets out of hand. When Vic Mackey cracks a joke to the guys about Aceveda, he stops Vic and warns him that he tolerates him at best and to stay out of his way. Vic tells him he should do the same. Vic and Lem decide their best course of action is to stop the violence from escalating, so they visit Rondell. He explains that T-Bones was part of Little's record label and went solo after becoming popular, creating animosity between them. Vic takes Rondell's gun and orders him to take his dealers off the streets for the time being to reduce targets. He orders Rondell to set up a meeting between him and Little and to give up 2 of his shooters to keep the strike team looking legitimate. Aceveda and his wife, Aurora, meet developer Jorge Machado at one of his events. He asks Aceveda to do him a favor. His nanny's husband, migrant worker Manuel Ruiz, has gone missing, and Aceveda promises to help search for him. He assigns Claudette and Dutch to the Ruiz case, leaving Dutch irritated that Aceveda pulled him off the gang war to run his errands. Vic Mackey meets with Little and tells him to back his crew down, but Little insists that T-Bones needs to do the same first as his gang shot first. Vic Mackey later notices Rondell Robinson's dealers back out on the street and angrily confronts Rondell, reminded him that the streets are his and getting him to pull the last of his men out. Dutch and Claudette report to Aceveda that Ruiz was last seen going out on a job with fellow worker and close friend Eduardo. Claudette notes that their relationship had soured since crossing the border, as Eduardo had been making threats on Ruiz's life recently, and that the two worked for a company called Jameson Contracting. Vic Mackey and Lem are called to the scene of a shooting where they find 3 of Rondell's men dead, as well as a man sent by T-Bones shot dead in the nearby crashed car. To Vic's horror, he realizes a young boy has been run over and is stuck under the car's front tire. The police arrive on the scene and the boy is taken to the hospital, and Ben Gilroy informs Vic that the boy is the son of an acquaintance of the mayor who is now investigating the case. As Gilroy warns him that continued failure will result in the strike team's disbandment, an officer informs them that the boy died en route to the hospital. Vic detains Little and T-Bones to try and force them to negotiate. T-Bones explains that Little's girlfriend and collaborator, Taisha, was taken from him by Little, as well as his cut of the profits that her latest record made. While they argue over the amount owed, Vic steps in and orders Little to come up with a number to pay T-Bones off with. He orders a 24-hour ceasefire, the breaker of the deal being sent to prison. Claudette and Dutch find Jameson Contracting full of migrant workers and meet Jameson himself, who identifies Ruiz but claims he had not seen him since he worked his only job there. When they find Eduardo, he flees. Danny identifies Robinson as one of the club shooters, and Rondell Robinson is arrested by Aceveda, determined or put him in jail. Aceveda explains the current Ruiz situation to Machado, who thanks him for his work. He asks Machado about backing him should he run for a seat on the city council, but Machado regretfully tells him he cannot currently sell a cop to the voters he has influence over. Noticing Vic Mackey talking to Robinson, Aceveda mused as if they would like a cop who brought down corrupt officers. Machado warns him that it would be career suicide, but the voters would love it. Danny and Julian are called to speak with Dottie Cummings, a woman whose 3-week dead son Thurman's body had been dug up and is being held for ransom. Danny has Julian stay and take care of it. He realizes he went to high school with Thurman, an old bully of his, and Cummings tells him that Thurman was a thief who died in a robbery, and she did not tell him because she was worried the police would not help her otherwise. Julian reassures her that Thurman is now on a better path with Jesus. She gets another call from the ransomer and realizes it is her ex-boyfriend Henry, who is quickly arrested. He explains he wanted to get Thurman's life insurance money, but Julian informs him that Cummings spent it all on the funeral. Vic pulls Danny aside, claiming Rondell is a criminal informant working under him and that he killed no one in the shootout. He asks Danny to change her story despite Aceveda's investment in the case, and she tells him that she will think about it. He and Corinne, I keep saying Corinne, it's Corinne, have a brief argument over Matthew's upcoming appointment, but they resolve it when he tells her to take a bath and let him take care of the kids. Danny is attacked outside a club by one of the Rondell Robinson's men, who warns her not to testify against him and leaves. She confronts Rondell, who denies any involvement. When Vic learns what happened and confronts Rondell himself, he confesses to interfering. Vic orders him to bail himself out, and he will take care of Robinson's trial before it happens, reminding him that the cops are off limits. Claudette and Dutch track down and arrest Eduardo, and Dutch reads him his rights in clumsy Spanish, while the other migrant officers laugh. When they question him, he admits Ruiz is dead, but stays mostly unresponsive. They step out to watch him on the camera with Aceveda, and Claudette theorizes he may have been raped, having spent years in hospitals taking statements from rape victims. An irate Taisha and Littles visit Vic, T-Bones having poisoned her dog. Little offers payment for Vic's help in killing T-Bones, and Vic accepts, needing the war over. Claudette and Dutch asks Solicito if Ruiz raped him, getting him emotional through to confess murdering him. However, they realize that Ruiz fell off of a roof while setting up an AC unit, and Jameson, not wanting legal trouble, convinced Eduardo that it was murder. Claudette has a team dig up where Ruiz's body is buried on Jameson's worksite, and Jameson is arrested. Vic and Lem bring T-Bones out of an abandoned shipping container to kill him. Little arrives to watch, but Vic locks both of them inside to work things out, warning Little that he is not for sale. Julian observes that an unresponsive Danny is tense and promises to say a prayer for her, which she brushes off. Vic and Lem trash Robinson's house and beloved record collection for having Danny attacked. Claudette and Aceveda explain to Machado that Ruiz's wife, that Jameson is being fined for evidence tampering, and Ruiz's death is being ruled accidental. Claudette assures Ruiz's wife that they can successfully sue Jameson Company for a large sum. Machado thanks Aceveda for his help and informs he is willing to back him should he make a headway on weeding out corruption, prepping him for release. Dutch asks if he can help with some housework. Vic assures Danny that she is now safe before getting a call from Corinne. He asks her to meet her. He meets her at the hospital where Matthew was bitten has bitten his older sister Megan. Vic assures an unresponsive Matthew that she will be all right. The next morning, Vic and Lem open the shipping container, but only Little emerges. As Lem takes care of T-Bone's body, Vic and Little stare at the sunrise together when Vic asks if he is hungry, and then Little replies that he is starving, and that's what ends this episode of The Shield. So, full disclosure, I didn't really like this episode. Maybe it was because I was really tired. I kept dozing off during it, so some of the events, it's just not as set in my head because I kept dozing off for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. But I'll give the episode a 6.7 out of 10. And my character of the episode will be Vic Mackey. I mean, there's others that are good, but Vic Mackey is just far and away the best person on the Shield. Not much of Shane Vandrella that we've had all in this episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of the Shield and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. Otherwise, I'll send Vic Mackey, Ray, or the Strike Team. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are regarding this episode of the Shield. What would you rate it, and who would you choose as the character of the episode, and anything else Shield related you want to comment or talk about. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100K subscribers. Yes, I know it's a high goal, but hey, gotta start somewhere. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're gonna see on JDub TV.